In this video, we're going to talk about how to write equations of lines in slope-intercept form. So we're going to write equations of lines given a point xy and a slope m. You're going to start off by plugging the coordinates of the point for x and y into the equation, and that'll help you calculate the value of the y-intercept, which is b. Then we're going to take the given value of m and the value of b that we calculate and plug into the equation to write the equation of the line. So let's write the equation of the line with m equals 2 that passes through the point 2, 0. So remember, we're working on slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we have here m equals 2, and we have the point 2, 0. So 2, 0 gives us an x and y value. So when we plug into the equation, we have the value of y, m, and x. So when we plug in, we get 0 equals 2 times 2 plus b. So now when we simplify this, we get 0 equals 2 times 2, which is 4, plus b. So now to solve for b, we're going to do the opposite of plus 4. The opposite of plus 4 is minus 4, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, and I get negative 4 equals b. So now I need to write my equation in y equals mx plus b form. So remember, when I do this, I need a value of m, and I need a value of b to plug into my equation. Well, I have a value of m, and I've figured out a value of b, so I can just use that to write my equation, y equals 2x plus negative 4. Remember, we don't want to put that double sign there, so we're going to write this as y equals 2x minus 4. And that is the equation of the line. Now let's write the equation of the line that has m equals negative 8 and passes through the point 1, 4. So we have, once again, are writing in y equals mx plus b. I have m equals negative 8, and I have the point 1, 4, which tells me the value of x and y. So when I plug into my equation, I get 4 equals negative 8 times x, which is 1, plus b. So when I simplify this, I get 4 equals negative 8 times 1, which is negative 8, plus b. Now I need to do the opposite of negative 8, which is to add 8 to both sides. So when I add 8 to both sides, on the left side, I get 4 plus 8, which is 12, and that equals negative 8 plus 8, which cancels, 12 equals b. So I'm going to take this value of m and take this value of b and plug into my equation y equals mx plus b. So when I do that, I get y equals negative 8x plus 12, and that is the equation of the line. So now let's write the equation of the line that has m equals negative 1/2 that passes through the point 4, 3. So once again, I'm going to go back to y equals mx plus b. I have m equals negative 1/2, and I have the point 4, 3, which is my x and y value. So when I do this, I get 3 equals negative 1/2 times 4 plus b. So I have 3 equals negative 1/2 times 4, so that's 4 over 1. So when I multiply fractions, I can reduce. 2 will go into 2 once, and 2 goes into 4 twice. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, and I have negative 2 plus b. So now to get b by itself, I need to do the opposite of negative 2, which is to add 2 to both sides. So when I do that, on the left, I get 3 plus 2, which is 5. Negative 2 and plus 2 cancel, and I have 5 equals b. So when I plug into my equation, y equals mx plus b, I have y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. And that is the equation of my line in slope-intercept form. So we can also write equations of lines if we're given 2 points that are on the line. In this case, we won't have the value of m, so we need to figure it out using this equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then we're going to pick one of the points, and we're going to plug in the coordinates of that point for x and y to calculate the value of the y-intercept, which is b. Then we can plug m and b back into the equation to write the equation of our line. So when we do this, we're going to write the equation of the line that passes through negative 1, negative 4, and negative 3, 2, and we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So the first step is to use this m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Remember, whenever we're using this formula, we want to start off by labeling our points. So I'm going to call this first point x1, y1, and the second point I'm going to call x2, y2. So when I plug in those values, I get 2 minus y1, which is negative 4, over negative 3 minus x1, which is negative 1. So 2 minus negative 4 is going to be 2 plus 4. Negative 3 minus negative is going to be plus. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3, so negative 3 is the value of the slope. Now we're going to go to y equals mx plus b form. We have our m, which equals negative 3, and I'm going to pick one of the points. I'm just going to pick the point negative 3, 2, and that gives me a value of x and a value of y I can use to figure out the value of b. So I'm going to plug into this equation, so I get 2 equals negative 3 times negative 3 plus b. So now I get 2 equals negative 3 times negative 3 is going to be 9 plus b. Now I need to solve for b. So to solve for b, I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So I have 2 minus 9, which is negative 7, and that equals b. So now I have m and I have a value of b, so I can write my equation, which is y equals mx plus b. So I have y equals negative 3x plus negative 7. The plus negative 7 I'm going to go ahead and turn into a subtract, so I have negative 3x minus 7, and that is the equation of my line. So let's now write the equation of the line that contains the points 2, 6, and 5, negative 3. So once again, I need to start off by calculating the slope. So slope is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So when I do this, I'm going to start off by labeling my points, just so I can keep everything organized. So I have y2, which is negative 3, minus y1, which is 6, and that is over x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is 2. So we have negative 3 minus 6, which is negative 9, over 5 minus 2, which is 3. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3, and that is my value of m, which is my slope. So I'm going to pick one of these points. I'm just going to pick 2, 6, so I have an x and y value, and I'm going to plug everything into y equals mx plus b. So I have y, which is 6, equals m, which is negative 3, times 2, plus b. So I have 6 equals negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6, plus b. Now I'm going to do the opposite of negative 6, and I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So I get 6 plus 6, which is 12, equals negative 6 and plus 6 cancel, 12 equals b. I'm going to go back to y equals mx plus b and plug in the values of m and b. So I have y equals negative 3x plus b, which is 12. And that is the equation of the line. So let's write the equation of the line that contains the points 1, negative 6, and negative 7, 2. So once again, I'm going to start off by calculating my value of slope, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So I'm going to label my points x1, y1, and x2, y2. So when I plug in these values into the formula, I get 2 minus y1, which is negative 6, over negative 7 minus x1, which is 1. So 2 minus negative 6 is going to become 2 plus 6, which is 8. Negative 7 minus negative 1 is going to become negative 8. 8 divided by negative 8 is negative 1, so that is my value of m. I'm going to pick one of these points. Let's pick 1, negative 6, and that will be x and y. I'm going to go back to y equals mx plus b and solve for the value of b. So I have negative 6 equals negative 1 times x, which is 1, plus b. So I have negative 6 equals negative 1 times 1, which is negative 1, plus b. So now to get b by itself, I'm going to do the opposite of negative 1 and add 1 to both sides. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. Negative 1 and plus 1 cancel, and negative 5 equals b. So now I have y equals mx plus b. So when I do that, I get y equals m, which is negative 1, so negative 1x plus negative 5. So I can do a couple of things here. Remember in algebra, we usually don't write coefficients of 1. So I can say this is y equals negative x, and this plus negative I can turn into a subtraction sign. So I have y equals negative x. So now let's write the equation of the line. So remember, to write equations of lines, you're going to need to figure out the value of slope m using the formula if the value of m is not given to you. Then you're going to plug in a point for x and y to calculate the value of the y-intercept, which is b. Then you're going to plug m and b into the equation y equals mx plus b, and you will have the equation of your line.